There's no question that the United States is actually being divided. And Americans are not really united at heart because of the polarization that we have here in this country. And this is something that I've been talking about for years on my YouTube channel. That Americans are very much divided. And it's very contradictory to the name the United States of America, which is the name of the country, USA. If anything, it should be called the DSA with the atmosphere and the way things are going here in this country. The DSA for the divided states of America, because Americans at heart are not united with one another. They it's almost as if they just want to tear each other's throats out because all this polarization about, oh, we have Trump supporters on one side, we have liberals on the other side, and whatever. This is telling me right there that the United States is not united as a country. They are divided because of their beliefs, because of the political parties that they choose to affiliate themselves with. And even though we see that the Democrats and Republicans are one and the exact same thing, they only differ in the context that the wolf and the fox differ. The way the wolf and fox differ, that's the only way. In that context, that's the only way they differ. But they still have one thing in common. They are both predator animals. The fox and the wolf may differ as different species in a way, but they still belong in the same family, known as the canine family. And the fact that you have Joe Biden, who has chosen Kamala Harris after Kamala Harris pretty much made it clear that he's somewhat of a racist person who has never really been there for black people in particular. And of course, in the internet, Joe Biden has this nickname like Mr. Civil Rights, and of course, this is meant in a very uh, this context reflects nothing more than sarcasm. And the fact that she's now the vice presidential pick, that tells me right there that everything she said to destroy Joe Biden's character was all for show. And this also proves that she is sanctioned, maybe not sanctioned, not the right word, but she is subsidized and she is bought out by the mainstream establishment. I mean, she in her own words, indirectly, if I should say, in a way, she actually accused Joe Biden of being racist and not being there for black people. And she kind of, through some remarks, what's it called, that pretty much reflect him being a sexual predator. So I find it a little bit weird how she was gladly willing to accept the position of vice president, thanks to the fact that this was Joe Biden's pick. You see, I say this very often. Politics nowadays has become very much like pro wrestling. They hate each other and they clash in front of the cameras, but behind closed doors, they're like the best of friends. And the fact that, in Kamala Harris and Joe Biden is really not that different. So to me, it's a little bit weird how people are still divided over their political beliefs. You see, this is why the forefathers warned us to beware of the two-party dictatorship. And this has resulted in classism as we speak. But people are too blind to see it, even though the writings are right there on the wall in front of them. One of the best examples I could point out is Mitt Romney and Obama in 2012 election that was going on. Even Vice President Joe Biden at that time and Paul Ryan, who is Mitt Romney's choice, or Willard Romney, if I should say, they were both asked questions on how to deal with Iran. They had different words, but they said the same thing even though they used a different choice of words. And Mitt Romney, when he had a debate with Obama, they literally agreed with each other on pretty much the same thing. And if you look, Mitt Romney has the exact same voting record as Barack Obama. He even went as far as to pass stricter gun control laws when he was governor. So that tells you right there that Democrats and Republicans are two different sides on the exact same coin. No different than how the fox differs from the wolf. They're different as far as what kind of uh, wild dogs they are in the canine family, but at the end of the day, they are still in the same family. I just don't understand why Americans don't see that. Trump supporters, they always say, like, oh, well, liberals want to just ruin the country. They just want to destroy the country. And anybody who's not a Trump supporter, they claim that Donald Trump is ruining the whole country. And it's just been a whole blame game thing now. This is why we shouldn't have political parties. They are used to divide Americans. And you Americans need to wake up right now. And the only solution is to stop voting for Democrats and Republicans. It's as hard as climbing Mount Everest, but it's just as easy as spotting the nose on your face. Stop voting for them. It's that plain and simple. So, to be honest with you, I find this a little bit weird how nobody's able to see it. I mean, it's as if Americans are so blind that they wouldn't be able to notice the full moon landing in front of their house. I just don't understand this. It doesn't make any sense. And people think that, they're supporting the political parties that has their best interest. But Republicans and Democrats never had the best interest of people. Unless they turn their back on the establishment, that's when those candidates or people become independent. I mean, this is all part of the elite plan. And there are elites in this world. People think that the word elites is just thrown around as a conspiracy theory, but it's not. It's a real thing. Kind of, kind of strange, really. And not only do I say that Americans shouldn't be voting for Democrats or Republicans for that matter. Especially if you're black, you should not be doing that. Because Democrats and Republicans, those were parties that once belonged to slave owners who ran the plantations. So it's funny how even black people in particular are more brainwashed than any other American out there. And and let me make one interesting point. In the media, you see black liberals and black conservatives, but you never see black independent voters or black independents. Black people like myself who don't belong in any political party. And I can probably name like a few artists in the rap industry who are black and independent, whether it's Immortal Technique or another guy like Locksmith. You know, they're not for the political parties. And let's not forget something. Liberals have had a history of passing down civil rights bills, but no rights for black Americans. It's like a victory with no victory, really. So, and for the black people, I want to tell you guys this. If you think that Joe Biden is for you guys because he supported civil rights bills, voted for civil rights bills to be passed for black people, then you are sorely mistaken, because that is a classic tactic that liberals use to become friends with black people. Conservatives, they just act like they have your best interest at heart, but they also don't care. Only minor difference is that liberals show that they're more deceiving than conservatives. They only show it more. I can't say in general they are more deceiving because they're just as deceiving, but they only show it more. They express more deceit through their actions. So that's just how it is. So as far as voting between the lesser of two evils, there is no lesser of two evils. They're just as bad as one another. Donald Trump is more open about being a supposed racist, and supposedly Joe Biden himself, he's a bigot in the closet. So I find it funny how even black people are willing to choose and stick by either Joe Biden or Donald Trump. So there's no yin and yang here. So there's no like balanced teeter totter, one going up, one going down. It's just straight down the middle. You don't vote for either people. And I say this once again, for all you black people who are choosing to vote for either Joe Biden or Donald Trump, he doesn't have your best interest at heart. None of them do. You are literally choosing to be a Negro in the plantations picking cotton again. And I say this with conviction. I say this with shame too, because this is the sad reality of black people and their condition here in America. So enough is enough. Like, Americans, you all need to wake up, especially for those of you who are black. And just so you know, for all you black people who want your best, who want someone to have your best interest at heart, stop voting Democrat or Republican. That's like a gazelle trying to become friends with a lion, knowing full well that there is a chance that the gazelle will be killed. Cats don't make peace with dogs. A gazelle doesn't make peace and go put an effort to befriend a lion, because a lion is only out to kill for the sake of surviving. That's it. So, for anyone who's black, those political parties, they will only kill you just to survive in their power. That's it. But this is designed. But this whole Democrat Republican polarization thing, and how toxic the political atmosphere is, this is only a ruse and a means to divide the United States of America. So there's no need for me to apologize about this, because I'm not speaking falsehood here. I'm speaking nothing more than pure, unadulterated truth. That's all I'm speaking. But hey, you know what? If you don't believe me, go look it up right now. Democrats and Republicans, they were nothing more than slave owners who held the black people down in their plantations, and they always acted like they were not racist and they never had a problem with minorities or black people. All these bills that were passed, and for what? So that they get more civil rights bills, but no civil rights. You can't have a victory with no victory. And it's the same thing. Every single year, every 4 years, it's the same thing. Whoever they vote for wins. Whoever the winner is in the race of becoming president, they cheer and sing, despite the fact that the result will just be the same thing. That's it. So stop being a victim of polarization, because as far as Americans being victims, they are brainwashed. And they choose to be victims because they choose to be brainwashed. And and I'm sick, and I feel like I am fed up with, having to repeat myself so much. But, but if messages like mine were heard more often, then I think America would be in a much better place. I mean, a lot of Americans are regretting voting for Donald Trump. So this tells you right there that every time Americans vote for somebody, either they become disappointed or there's disappointment in the presidency. So I find this a little bit weird, because you're really not doing any justice by voting for the two-party dictators. It's really that plain and simple. Just stop voting for them. And this is why political parties need to be abolished now.